When countries rush to recognize a Palestinian state without negotiations, it does not bring us closer to peace. In fact, it does the opposite. It rewards terror, it destabilizes the region, and it sets back any chance of a real, permanent solution. Israel has made it clear that it will not accept dictated borders that put its people at risk of another October 7th. And if you just think about it, Hamas did in fact carry out the deadliest massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. Over 1,200 innocent people were slaughtered, families were torn apart, and more than 200 hostages were then dragged back into Gaza. And what happened after that? A senior Hamas leader, many of them actually bragged that international recognition of a Palestinian state was what they called the fruit of October 7th. That's not my interpretation, that's their own words. They said this. When you have an ideology that insists terrorism is going to bring forward fruit, that it is going to be rewarded, you cannot reward it. You just can't. When terrorists say kill civilians and the world will reward you, what message are we sending as the West, the Western Hemisphere, all of us in our governments, if we play along to exactly what they want us to play along to? Recognition of a state today does not strengthen peace. It strengthens Hamas, their goals, and their tactics. And it tells every extremist in this region and globally, violence will be rewarded. It will pay off. And instead of handing out diplomatic rewards, the world should be demanding one thing: the release of the hostages, then disarm the terrorists and stop glorifying murder and change this society from its roots, de-radicalize the society. And it also needs to be said that the Palestinian leadership hasn't met even the most basic standard for statehood, being peace-loving. The Palestinian Authority still hasn't fully condemned October 7th in any meaningful way that Israelis can trust, and they actually continue their pay-for-slay policy where terrorists and their families get monthly salaries for killing Jews. Yes, the Palestinian Authority pays Palestinians to go commit acts of terrorism against Jews. And that is who we speculate, if not Hamas, is going to be running the newly recognized Palestinian state. How can you ask Israel to recognize a state when its leaders reward terrorism and incitement? How on earth could you possibly ask a nation of people to live beside a government and people who fall under this disgusting, barbaric ideology? A real peace agreement only comes through direct negotiations like Oslo laid out, and that means Israel and the Palestinians sit down face to face to work out borders, security, and recognition. One-sided moves destroy that process. We're thinking of long-term peace, as all these Western leaders want to say. This isn't the way to get that. If Hamas can parlay a massacre into diplomatic wins, Hezbollah, Iran, and every other actor watching is going to take note of this.